Okay, good afternoon. My name is Ritesh Sir, and I'll be talking about general science and related technology. So, this is the area where we will be covering the topics of general sciences. It will include biology, physics, chemistry, and we'll keep in mind that we will be discussing only the applied portion of these things. We do not need to discuss the entire biology. Although biology has the maximum participation in the PT examination, so the coverage of biology will be little more, but in case of physics and chemistry, our coverage will be a little optimized. Optimized in that sense that we will be covering about only those portion of physics and chemistry where the physics and chemical sciences encompasses with the daily life. That means we will be trying to explore the physics and chemistry in our daily lives, right? And because those are the area from where the question can be framed, and UPSC has a history of framing the question from those areas only, right? Second thing is technology. Obviously, when there is a science, there would be technology. Technology is nothing but the application of science in our daily life. Let's say when we talk about physics, then we talk about electromagnetic radiation. When we talk about electromagnetic radiation, then we talk about radio waves, we talk about microwaves, we talk about infrared, we talk about visible spectrum, we talk about gamma radiation, ultraviolet radiation. And now this electromagnetic radiation, that is a core area of physics, has application in a variety of technologies. Let's say those technologies are, let's say mobile technology, 2G, 3G, 4G. Those technologies are radio broadcasting, television broadcasting. Along with that technology, we will be studying about and trying to know about the types of television we have. During those electromagnetic radiation study, we will be also exploring the laser technology. And when we study about the laser technology, there are a wide area where laser is being used. So that is technical part, right? That will nothing but the technology, which is very important, and this technology will be related to these things only. Chemistry has also got some technological aspect. In chemistry, we talk about elements, and there are many elements which are being used in the technology. Let's say uranium, plutonium, thorium. So these are the things which are being used in the nuclear technology. So that will be the extension of chemical sciences in technology. Let me tell you, because we all are talking and we all are working for the next prelim examination which is coming. So these are the core area where the participation of question maximum will be from biology, physics at the second place, and the chemistry the least required one, but still we will be covering a few things of chemistry also. A few, but we will be covering. Please come. Again, if we talk about technology, then there are four technology we will be concentrating upon. One is biotechnology, another is information technology, yet another is nano technology, and then there is nuclear technology. So these are the technologies that we need to know about in detail. And there are many other technologies as well. Let's say we will be talking about the missiles, we will be talking about the space technology, we will talk about Chandrayaan, we will talk about the Saral satellite, we will be talking about Agni 5. And these are the current related things. So many of the things will be covered in the current, and many of the things we will be talking into the general science and technology classes itself. But these are the four areas where we need to work in detail, right? Why? Because biotechnology, that is a direct application of biology and biotechnology. Again, information technology is nothing but the application of physical sciences. Nanotechnology is an emerging area. It is in between. Nanotechnology is based on the quantum physics, and there is also many aspects of chemistry as well. And nuclear technology is required because India is gearing up to increase the nuclear power participation in its energy budget. Right now we are producing just 3% of nuclear energy. Our total energy or out of total energy, the nuclear energy is just 3%, that we are aspiring to increase it by 10%, and so that our dependency on fossil fuel decreases and we could have a proper way by which we can have a source of energy which is carbon dioxide free, or let's say greenhouse gas free. And there are lots of concern about nuclear technology. Lots of things are going in India. Jatapur plant, Kundalkulam plant. These are the plants where lots of mass protest are going on. So what are those issues? What are the kind of reactors they have? What is the good and bad about that reactor? What is the environmental consequences? What are the technology involved? And what is the basic science behind it? This is of Indian importance, and these three is important because of one simple observation, that we always live in an era of technology. This present era of technology is era of biotechnology. We are living in the era of biotechnology. If you look around, if you read a newspaper, then you will be finding that lots of things are happening in biotechnology. Lots of new things are coming in biotechnology. And the era we left behind was the era of information technology. So let's say 5 years back or 10 years back, all the information technological things is already been done. 2G was there, 3G came, 4G came. So all these technologies are there in the world. There is no new things are happening over there. Only thing is happening that this technology is being made available to the common people. 4G is there, now it is being available to the common people. 3G have been there before it was launched in India. Now it is being available to the people over there. So the past era was the era of information technology. That is how it is important, because we are still using it and exploring it. The present era is the era of biotechnology, and the future era where we will be going in, that will be era of nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is going to change our life in the way that plastic has changed our life. Plastic polymer, you all understand. Plastic polymer, when we started making polymer, that was a huge leap. And the plastic becomes so necessary in our life that we cannot imagine our life without plastic. The chair on which you are sitting, that is made up of polymer. The clothes that you wear, they have majority, like good amount of polymer are attached to that. In our day-to-day life, we have many electronic gadgets, electrical appliances, many instruments, pen, pencil and everything. They are nothing but the polymers. So polymers are everywhere. Like the way the nanotechnology will be changing our future life. Nanotechnology will be there in the car body, it will be there in the aeroplane body, it will be there in the electronic circuit, it will be there in the solar cell, it will be there in the missile, and it is still there. Lots of things are still there, that is nanotechnological product, but we seldom realize that it is a nanotechnological product. We will be talking about that in detail. So that will be the area of discussion, right? We will start with the basic sciences, but slowly we will be moving towards the technology portion as well. And let's say start the biggest and most important aspect of general science and technology, that is biology. Like I told you that biology has a greater participation, and if we understand biology, core biology, then it will be easier to understand the biotechnology as well, right? So let's say that if we talk about biology, then it is a study of life, the very basic thing. I am not interested in telling all these, small things and share small things with you, because you all know it. Let's talk about something else. Let's study of life. So studying life is very difficult. Till now nobody could deliver that what is life. So instead of talking about the life, the scientists started exploring the difference between living and the non-living. So if we could differentiate between living and non-living, we will be understanding the life. There are certain things which make a living being living, and on that basis you can differentiate between living and non-living, right? So what are those characteristics? What are the characteristics of life? Let's say The first one I will be putting, that is reproduction. So if something is living, it will reproduce. That is a thumb rule. If it doesn't reproduce, it is not living. Right? That is the first and foremost criteria. Second, if something is live or living, then it will have cell structure. It will be made up of cell. The second thing will be cell structure. Third thing, cell is required because lots of life processes goes in the cell. We are living because of our life processes. I breathe in, I breathe out. In that way, I take oxygen. This oxygen is used to metabolize and to, for the breakdown of the food that we eat. And by the breaking down of the food, the energy is liberated. And that energy is fueling me to deliver this lecture or do whatever I want. So life is all about the chemical reaction happening inside the body. That is the simplest definition of life. Although life is undefinable entity or term, but still if we want to define it, then we can say that life is the total sum of chemical reaction occurring inside the body. Life is total sum of chemical reaction. Now this chemical reaction is occurring inside the body, so we will call it biochemical reaction. So life is the outcome of biochemical reaction. For a reaction to take place, we need to have a place where all these reaction could take place. And that place is what? That is cell. Cell has different compartments. Mitochondria is there, Golgi body is there, nucleus is there, cytoplasm is there. And all these places are designed to perform a specific function. That is why cell structure are important. And when cell structures are there, then this chemical reaction will also take place. And these chemical reactions are called metabolism. So third aspect would be metabolism. So if anything is living, then they will reproduce. That particular thing will have cell structure and there will be some metabolism, right? These are the three things which are very much required. Again, there is a fourth criteria. Fourth is adaptability. That means living organisms, they have tendency to adapt to the environment. And that is why we are in that particular shape. We all started our life, and life originated on the earth as a single cell. It got adapted to the changing environment, that is called evolution. And due to the evolution only, now we have different kind of biodiversity over here. We get adapted to the environment, even in the short term and the long term, in the both way. Long term adaptations are basically evolution, and that will give rise to a new species. Short term adaptations are everywhere. One short term adaptation that we have, if you go and stand in the sun rays for 2 hours, you will be tanned. Tanning will be there. What is that? That is a short term adaptation. Tanning is a biological process. Tanning means that a spread of the melanin pigment of the skin to darken the color of skin. And skin color darkens only because so that you can be saved by the harmful effect of ultraviolet radiation. So ultraviolet radiations are harmful because that can lead to skin cancer. And if melanin pigments are spread and color of the skin is darkened, then the effect of ultraviolet radiation will be minimized. That is the short term adaptation. Now if you look at the long term adaptation of that particular thing only, then you will realize that the people who are living around the equator, they are darker in complexion, original inhabitant. I am not talking about the migrated one. The original inhabitant. The human beings who originated at that point only, or they live their maximum life over there, they are darker in color because sun rays are strong at the equator. If you go to the temperate region, you will find that fairer peoples are there. If you talk about India only, then you will find it. In India, the people from Kashmir, or let's say the northern part, they are fairer in color in general, and people from southern India, let's say Kanyakumari region, they are little bit darker in complexion. Why? Because they are near to the equator. That is adaptation. And all these adaptations are, and that will be accumulating, and that can lead to a new species. That has happened in the past. We came from the monkeys or apes. So adaptation and evolution that happened in the ape, and finally we are in this shape now. What will be the course of human being? What will be beyond human being? That is unanswered thing, because now we are controlling our environment. In other words, we are destroying our environment as well. So what will be the course of new evolution? That is unknown. But we have witnessed the evolution in the past, and there are lots of evidences are there. So these are the 4 things which can differentiate between living and non-living. Let's say there are few things that living can walk, non-living cannot. All these things are obsolete, because they all are included in metabolism, and there are always some exceptions. There are many living organisms, or there are many living organisms who do not walk, do not move, they do not breathe, but they are still living, right? And all these things are anyway included in the metabolism. So this is the foremost criteria that can differentiate between living and non-living. Then cell structure, metabolism, and adaptability, right? Now, at this point only, I will talk about virus. Why I am taking an example of virus? Because virus is considered as connecting link between living and non-living. So that is connecting link between living and non-living. Okay, Lucknow center, I will be slow now. So viruses are connecting link between living and non-living. Viruses have both the ability. Outside the body, they are non-living. Because outside the body, when they are remaining outside the body, they do not show any of these structures or any of these phenomena. They do not reproduce at all. They can be there in the atmosphere for 10,000 years, and still they won't be dividing. So there is no reproduction. There is no cell structure. Viruses do not have any cell structure. Let's say, if we talk about the structure of a virus, so I can draw like this. A virus are very simple structure. Viruses are made up of nothing but the protein. So this is protein capsule, and this is either DNA or RNA. So that is the structure of a virus. Do you see any cell structure in that? We all know what is cell structure. Cell will have nucleus, it will have plasma membrane. And there is no as such thing in the viruses. Viruses are just protein and nucleic acid. This is DNA, which stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. आप जानते होंगे. And RNA is ribonucleic acid. Right? So, first thing, I talked about the virus, that virus is non-living outside the body because it does not reproduce when they are outside the body. When the viruses are not into a cell, it will be a non-living thing. First thing, that it will not reproducing. There is no cell structure as well. So there is another criterion on which we can classify viruses as non-living, because viruses do not have any cell structure. They have just a protein capsule with DNA and RNA present inside. Right? Third thing, that if cell is not there, then forget about the metabolism. The chemical reaction will not take place. There is no way where chemical reaction can take place. So metabolism is also not there. And if metabolism is not there, cell structure is not there, then forget about the adaptability or evolution. So viruses are like dust particle when they are present outside the body. When I say outside the body, it means outside the cell. We all know that viruses are responsible for a variety of disease. They infect our body, they enter into our cell. And the moment they enter into our cell, they become living. And they start showing all the things that a living organism could show. When they enter in our cell, they start reproducing, they start making their multiple copies. That is reproduction. When they enter in our cell, they acquire our cell. They hijack our cell. So our cell will work under the control of virus. So virus has got a cell also. Now the virus has got a cell, the cell is ours, but it is working for virus. And if the cell is there, then metabolism will also be there. Now our cell will not be working according to our wish or our DNA. It will be working according to the virus's DNA. And now the virus will be adapting also. Viruses are something like terrorists. Let's say if the terrorists enter in India, then terrorists do not have anything. They do not have house, they do not have any setup. All they have is a AK-47. But that AK-47 is a very mighty thing. Let's say that terrorist with AK-47 enter into your house. God forbid that it doesn't enter your house. But let's say in any house. Then what will happen? With the help of AK-47, he will be controlling the entire house. Now your kitchen and the food will be according to his wish. Your kitchen and his chicken, वो शुरू हो जाएगा फिर वहां. You will be doing all the thing for him because he has AK-47, mightier than yours, and then he will be controlling all the household thing. आपके घर में ही रहेगा, आपके घर में रह के आपके घर को यूज करेगा according to his wish. So viruses does the same thing. Viruses has got DNA and RNA. This DNA and RNA are very strong thing. When they enter into the cell, this DNA and RNA overpower our own DNA and RNA, which is present in my cell, in your cell. Now this DNA and RNA become faulty, it won't be working. Who will work? DNA and RNA of virus will work. Mitochondria, each and every cell organelle will start working according to the virus's wish, and now the virus is living. One virus will enter, it will multiply and it will become 1,000 virus. 1,000 virus will affect the 1,000 nearby cells, and then the things will go on, and that is how we get affected. That is how the virus attacks our body and it makes us sick. When this virus comes out, it's again non-living. So that is how the viruses are called connecting link between living and non-living, because it has got both the thing. Simple thing you can have in mind that inside the cell it is living, outside the cell it is non-living. Right? Another thing about virus, that viruses will either have DNA or RNA, right? So DNA viruses are very common. The majority of viruses that you come across are DNA viruses, but RNA viruses are a different class. So RNA viruses, they are called retrovirus. So there is a special name given to RNA virus, that is called retrovirus. In other words, we can say that retroviruses are those viruses where genetic material are in the form of RNA, and whereas DNA viruses are simply called DNA virus. There is no such name given to the DNA viruses, because majority of the viruses are DNA viruses. A good amount of viruses are RNA viruses, but they are minority. Right? And there are two retroviruses that you know. आपको पता है. One is called HIV, that is responsible for AIDS. So HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, is a RNA virus. So it injects RNA in our body, and this RNA overpower our cell, and then multiple copies of the HIV are formed, and it destroys our immunity system. It destroys our immunity system. Another is rotavirus. Rotavirus is another class of virus. These days it is very much in news. Why? Because these rotaviruses are responsible for diarrhea, severe diarrhea in infants. You must have realized, and you might have seen in your house also, that the babies of around 1 year age, they suffer from a severe diarrhea, and that is usually the first diarrhea. And we connected with the erupting of teeth. हम लोग उसको कई बार बोलते हैं कि वो दांत निकल रहा है इसीलिए डायरिया हुआ है. It has nothing to do directly with the eruption of teeth, right? Eruption of teeth means that teeth are erupting, so there will be a sensation, and to overcome the sensation, what will happen? The baby will put finger in the mouth, and along with the finger he will try to put everything in the mouth. Even the surfaces may be unhygienic, and viruses are one such thing which are present everywhere. These rotaviruses are present everywhere. So whenever you put anything in the mouth, obviously the rotavirus will enter into the body, and the first infection of rotavirus is very, very severe, and it leads to explosive diarrhea. Many of the babies in India die because of that, because when the diarrhea occurs, then the body fluid loses, are lost at a very high speed. So hospitalization is done, otherwise ORS solutions are given. In our rural area, we do not practice such things because people are unaware. They think that there would be some medicine for that. Let me tell you that to treatment of viral diseases, there is no medicine. Viral diseases cannot be treated properly. Antibiotic does not work against viruses. Common cold is caused by viruses. There is no cure of common cold. Every time you get a common cold, that is a new virus. Once I get a common cold from a particular virus or influenza virus, that particular virus will not attack again in my lifetime. So next time I get a common cold, that is another virus. Again next time, that is yet another virus. Jaundice, hepatitis, these are the viral disease. Jaundice, there is no medicine. You eat leaf 52, you drink plenty of water, you take rest, that's it. After 10-20 days, it will be automatically healed or cured. And if it is hepatitis, then it will not be cured. Then the person will be cured itself. वही मर जाएगा. So there is only two things: AIDS, that is not treatable. Dengue, not treatable. In dengue, what is there? Dengue is also a viral disease. Then the person is advised to eat crocin, drink plenty of water, and take rest. Crocin is not a medicine to treat something. It is paracetamol, just which minimizes and decreases the body temperature. That's it. तो डेंगू का इलाज कहां होगा? इलाज तो कुछ नहीं हुआ, because viruses are cured by the body itself, and body will take care of viruses if the viruses are not so strong. In case of AIDS or hepatitis viruses, right? So these viruses are altogether different entity. These two things you remember: HIV and rotavirus. Rotaviruses are responsible for dysentery or diarrhea in the infants, and these both are the example of RNA viruses. Okay. Okay, Lucknow Center, I have written adaptability after metabolism. So it was adaptability after metabolism, where I talked about the four characteristics of living. First was reproduction, second was cell structure, third was metabolism, and fourth was adaptability. Okay, so that is a brief introduction about the viruses. We'll talk more about viruses in terms of disease. You will get a notes for that, that which virus causes which disease and which organs are affected. We will be talking more about the viruses in immunity system. Now we'll come to the cell. So cell can be of two types. There could be a plant cell, there could be an animal cell. So let's say this is plant cell.